Hi everyone, welcome to Craft Addict K. I'm Carla. We are missing Sam tonight. Today is May 26th, and I've been asked by a friend to do a flip through of my Happy Planner and how I have it set up to track all of my stitching. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and do that today. I'm going to do a flip through. I'm going to show you some different organization things that I made up this year that I've worked with, and then we'll let you know where I'm at halfway through the year. So just give me a second and I will get everything set up so you can look down on what I see. Okay, this second time's a charm, I hope. We're going to hope that this actually tapes right. I actually used two books. The first book I have here is an older book that I had, and it actually has my S-Word Designs project cards in here. I punched them with my classic punch card. The only thing I would do differently is if they were a little bit bigger, so they made it out to be the classic size, and it would give you room to write the stitches in instead of just highlighting the days that you worked on something. So this is their 5-year. As you can see, it's got the 5 years on it. I highlight the days that I work on a project, add any notes to this for that project. And this is my, if lack of a better term, my master set. I also have, for smaller projects, she has a 2-year plan I use. Again, it gives you some room on the back side for any conversions that you may have done, flosses you may have done. So I do like this to hold my extras in, for lack of a better word. And these are just pieces that I had left over from previous Happy Planners that I had. So that stays around, somewhere around my stitchy spot. What I currently use, or what I've been using this year, is a classic vertical planner. It came with, it was a clearance item, I believe, and it came with this being on the outside. Hello Today was the front of the cover. This was actually the inside part of the cover. I decided I liked this better, so I flipped it. And when I flipped it, I also added the stickers, Be Brave, because this is my cross stitch planner. So hopefully this is videoing correctly for you guys. I think I'm in shot. So this is the second time that I've done this tonight, because the other one, it was sideways. So we're going to try this again. So in my Happy Planner, I have added things over the years, and this is what works for me. What works for you may be something completely different. I just wanted to give you an idea of how I track my cross stitch and how I measure if I'm meeting goals and doing the things that I want to do. And it's been very enlightening to me, the kind of cross stitcher I am. So I like this, and I'm sure it will evolve next year. I will be evolving into even more things. So bear with me as I go through everything. Some of this is repetitive tracking, but it's because I'm trying different things out. Okay, so the front cover, obviously it's laminated. It does come off. Any of these pages will come off very easily. This is a pocket folder that I got in a recent clearance of Pocahontas. I have some papers in here that I want to update where my percentages are to see how I am in reaching my goals. So I printed it out. And I haven't done it yet, so that's in there. Some stickers on the back side because it's a 2-sided pocket. Any of this stuff will come out, easily comes out, as you can see, and you can put it in wherever you want it. It comes with the holes, and let's see, there we go, comes with the holes along the edge, and you can put it anywhere. This year they have the Disney Princesses as one of the themes for the Happy Planner. So I don't know what's going to be coming out in October when the new releases come out. So I'm anxious to see. These are just the little stickers, like little post-it notes, of lack of a better word, that came in the same kit. I have these clear, you'll see these clear dividers. This is actually a frosted divider. I got this on Etsy. If you search Happy Planner dividers, you will find it. I've had these for a couple of years. I think the first time I saw it was on Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and I went and ordered a set for myself, and I've gone back and I think I've ordered another set, so I might have 2 sets combined in here. I opted for the tabs on the top because my monthly tabs are on the side. So that's what works for me. What I have here is, and I keep checking to make sure I'm still in focus because I see I shift a little bit. So what I have here is I put focus on top because I take my project cards that I showed you that was in my master set in here, and I pull them as I'm working on them, and I put them in here in the front of my binder. So as I'm working on it, I highlight the days that I worked on it. That's really the only room I have to do in here. But my plan is whenever Samantha and I do sit down to do our WIPs video or end of the month wrap up, I'll be able to pull these project cards out and have all the information of how many days I worked on it. I'm going to know the stitches I've done because I track stitches as well, but you don't have to. That's just what I do because I do count stitches. So this has got all my projects, and you know, if I've worked on them however many months. At a quick glance, it's nice to look at because I can say, okay, Coffee Quaker, I've worked on 4 days this year so far. I just started these this year. I actually started the project September 15th, 2019. So it's one of my older projects, so it is going to be a finish this year. It is a zombie run piece to make it a finish. Phantom of the Opera, I started November 2019, and I've only worked on it 9 days so far this year. So this kind of gives me an idea if I need to step it up, if something hasn't really gotten some love, needs some attention at a quick glance. And I punched the holes in it with my classic planner punch that I got at Michael's. They're easily enough that if you can get them on sale, it's even better. I think you can get them for $10 or $15 on sale at Michael's. So, and again, this is from S. Ward Designs. I encourage you to look her up. She's got an Etsy shop. Very pleasant to work with. I think the first shipment, my post office destroyed it. It never made it. A piece of it did. And she was happy to send me another set, which I thank her for. So, and that's how I use them. The only thing I would say is I wish it was more of a classic planner size so that you could actually write in the calendar the dates, how many stitches you did. And I can't write that in there. So, but I do like it for the visualization. All your happy planners come with your cover page. It says, hey, this belongs to who. Inside of here is my 2020 and my 2021 calendar at a glance. They all come with this. I also have is a by month. Some people use this for birthdays, some people anniversaries, some will put important dates to remember. I use mine for my WIPs because I put in the WIP and the year that it was started, and I put it on the day that I started it. And then if I finished it, I go back and I highlight it so I don't carry the highlights into next year. But this is a nice way to look at. You can tell like what you've been doing, what months are busy, what months have you kind of been slacking and not starting anything. You can see what things you've still got out there floating. This went from July of 2020 and it goes till December of 2022. So you can see I've got some finishes in there that didn't make it into, won't go into my next planner. But I also had a lot of starts in November, getting ready for No New Starts, which I think some of us, a good bit of us, was doing and starting all the things because we didn't have enough to stitch. Ha, ha, ha. So anyway, that's how I keep track at a glance. I don't know. It's just something I do. And I look and see what's my oldest WIPs. It's an easy way to do that. Then I have my next page is a little divider that probably came from one of my previous planners I repurposed. And it's my to-do. Because I wanted to do that. I need to do this every day that I stitch. And what I do is I count my stitches, and I count stitches either through Pattern Keeper, or I also use, if you've ever seen a tally counter, let me see my InShot, here we go. If you've ever seen a tally counter, this is a great way to count stitches. You just hit that button as you're highlighting and it counts your stitches, and when you want to clear it, you hit the little button. I have seen these at Michael's, I've seen these at Joann's, they're probably at Walmart. They've come in different colors. This one is just pink and sits in my stitchy spot. I have some in my travel bags, and you probably find them all around my house actually. But that's great for when I'm working on paper charts to help me keep track. Some people will put on an app on their phones and they can tap it and it counts for them as they're highlighting their stitches off. Whatever works for you. But what I have here is I did an Excel spreadsheet of my 2021 yearly stitch tracker. I've got the dates of the month. I got the months across here, and all I did was left me space that I could put my total stitches. I had the total for the month at the bottom. Like last month on April, I did 21,010 stitches. That was an extremely high month for me. That is nowhere near my normal stitching. I don't know what was going on in April. But it gives me my daily average because I divide it by the number of days in the month that I stitched. And if I had any project finishes, I added that in because I had 3 projects that got finished in April. And if I had any page finishes for my full coverages and my total page finishes, because I'm just interested in how many pages I can get done in a year. So there's that. I track that. And I just glued that onto a Happy Planner notebook page. It would just be a notebook like what's on the back. Then I did an Excel spreadsheet that had my whip list, and I needed a whip list for No New Starts to post online that showed my whips, which I've done that. Well, I decided to take that piece of it and extend it and give me each month. And so then when I work on it at the end of the month, I total up the stitches for that project that I've done for that month. So you can see Autumn ABCs, I finished. That's why it's highlighted. And my total stitches for the year was 4,399 stitches that I did on Autumn ABCs. So I have a year-to-date column. That wouldn't fit, so I just fold it over. When I get there, I can use it. But this is my, and this is in alphabetical order, so it's easy for me to find. And I sorted them that way in my Excel spreadsheet. And this is the back page that takes me down to the bottom. Same thing. I did do a total stitches for the month and how many page finishes as well. I kind of carried it on over into this format. This page is what my official whip list was going into 2021. It was a little bit big for my page. As you can tell, I stuck out a little bit, so I just decided to fold it up. And this has all of my whips on it, who the designer is, when I started it, what my initial goals were, because I want to see, did I meet my goals when the end of the year comes? So we'll see. Some of them I have because I finished them and that was a goal for me. Some of them I'm still evaluating where I'm at with them. I highlight the ones that I've done, and I started the year in 2021 with 63 active whips, 25 of which were full coverage pieces. So, and I've gotten so far, I think I have 8 done. I don't remember. 3, 4, 5. 5 done. 5 done so far. So I'm down under 60. So then the next, I put a page tracker. I put a divider in on this, and I use this because I'm in multiple groups, and I use my whips for multiple groups, and I want to keep track of what I'm stitching for what group. So for example, here's Alligator Girl. I'm doing a hike with her, and I have 1,012 stitches left on the hike I took pictures for her with. I have that much left. When she's called for Whip Go, I will assign her into a bookshelf slot for Full Coverage Fanatics, and I'll use her in the Daily 30 and whatever I can use once she's called for Whip Go for Daily 30 prompts. I started, my Whip Go goal originally was to be just to finish a page, and now I'm going in a different route and doing a page. A Heaven and Earth design page is typically 8,000 stitches. So I just want to see how many of projects can I get above that 8,000 stitch mark. And so I put Whip Go originally 8,000, and now I'm down to 6,120. And if I have any miscellaneous challenges. So I just use a page for each one of my whips that I've been working on. As I pull it out, or as I know that I've worked on it, I just add to it. I think I can pull out one. Hazel the Giraffe is a good one because I worked on her this past weekend. I had a hike that needed 1,051 stitches. Now the next time I stitch on her, I need to do 46 more stitches to get that completed. On the bookshelf, I have her assigned to a February bookshelf. I need 1,945 stitches in order to complete that bookshelf challenge. And she's a zombie piece for my Daily 30, so I need to get 208 more stitches in order to reach my mile for my zombie run piece. And I'm doing semi-sane, and it's 150 stitches for the next letter that I requested for the Wheel of Fortune this month. I did complete Full Coverage Fanatics semi-sane with her, or Wheel of Fortune with her, so I exit off. At the end of the day, I mark where I need to be for the next day when I sit with that project. So it helps to keep me in order. Some of my projects aren't full coverage and they can't go into all the different groups. As you can see, like One Nation, I've got a hike going in daily 30, not much else. Haven't done a lot of stitches on that one yet this month. My Phantom of the Opera has been very busy, so you can see I try to make it so it's obvious to me what do I have left to do in each category. And right now, Phantom of the Opera has everything done except for the hike, which is 3,221 stitches I need to do the next time I get it out. So those seem like really big numbers. They're really not. Sociable Scarecrow's gotten some love. It's now my zombie piece, so you'll see I've got a lot of numbers up here. That's because if I finished, I know the next time I hit the Sociable Scarecrow out, I'm ready to start a fresh mile because I have 400 stitches. So I have nothing sitting waiting. So in June, I'll be pulling Sociable Scarecrow out and doing another 400 stitches. Don't tell Gary from Sunshine Stitchers. So that gives you an idea. And whenever my page is full, all I have to do is take it out, which is very easy. They come right out. That simple. And I can flip it over and do the same thing on the back side for that project. So I've got some growing room to go. Plus the beauty of the Happy Planner is your pages go in and out just that easily. The next section, I have challenges. And what I did here was I put my zombie run pieces in here. So this was what I printed from the zombie run. These are my tracking of my miles and how many miles I've run for each piece. You have to have 4 pieces a month, and those are your focus pieces, and you have to touch every piece. And for me, I'm a human, so I'm doing 400 stitches each time. So I track this to make sure I'm putting my pictures in and how many, make sure I touched all my pieces for the month until the project is finished. So that is the zombie run. Then I talked about full coverage fanatics. And this is something I think I might have made this, or I might have printed this off of the website. I don't remember. This is full coverage fanatics. I did make this one. I took all the books for the year and I put this on a spreadsheet and how many of the stitches needed for each of those books. And here's the key to this. And I just wrote in the ones that I used. You can see I've changed my mind on some of them. I whited it out, wrote on top of it. I use this for WhipGo as well because WhipGo picks 2 of my full coverage pieces and then I do the 3rd one. So whatever one I want to focus on is like maybe there's one that has been called in full coverage and I haven't gotten it complete, or has been called in WhipGo, I'm sorry, and I haven't gotten it completed yet. I may put that as my 3rd focus to try and get my WhipGo goal done. So that's how I've been picking them. With full coverage fanatics, you can go back and finish, but you can't work ahead. So you can see I've got quite a few that I finished to the shelves, and I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I'm still working on. So I think there's definitely growth room, and some of them I've used the same book for 2 different shelves. Like if I finished it up here, I might have used it again down here. Like Phantom of the Opera, I used in the first month, and I was feeling like stitching on them, so I put it back down again after I finished that. I put it down and used it for this current month, and I had a finish. I hit my 3,490 stitches on it. So this is my WhipGo board, and I know you're seeing it sideways. I'm leery of changing positioning because I will come out of shot. But this is my current WhipGo board, and how I did this is I have 25 full coverages, and my goal was to finish the page. Regardless of where I was at, I just wanted to finish the current page I was working on. Initially when I started, I had since changed that to 8,000 stitches, so it has really swapped things around for me. So you can see I finished 4. I still have some that have been called. You'll see this C. I know it's been called, but I haven't finished it yet. Once I finish the 8,000 stitches, I will mark it off in pink and I will mark it as a finish. So I've worked on some of them for other challenges, but I haven't hit that 8,000 mark yet. So, and that's WhipGo from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. Full Coverage Fanatics is also doing a trip around Iceland. I believe this was designed, at least the tracking portion of it was designed by Corinne at Grace Note Stitches. I always get Corinne and Colleen mixed up because they're mother-daughter group, and I always get them mixed up. But it was either Corinne or Colleen from Grace Note Stitches that did, I know she did this one, the Take a Hike for Semi-Sane. I'm not 100% sure she did this one, but I think she did. Anyways, I fell off the bandwagon with this one anyway. I decided to do the hard version. and I just don't have a project to dedicate to just doing this on. And I think that's probably been my downfall. So switching projects so much, it's hard to do one of these kind of challenges. But anyways, take a hike background certificate. This definitely was done by Miss Grace Note Stitchers herself. And I took it, printed it, and cut it down to my size. And I actually just taped it on, it's got double-sided tape onto one of my notebook pages for my Happy Planner. And that just gives it more stability in my opinion. That's all, because I'm kind of rough on my books. Anything that's circled, I finished. If they've got a little name beside them, that means I'm currently working on a project that I'm working on getting to that hike. They're doing background certificates. I'm not turning them in for certificates. I'm just doing it for me to see what all I can do. Because some of these are really, like, I think there's one here that's got 29,000 or something I thought I saw. 19,340 to go to Mount Kilimanjaro. I definitely should do that because they tease my husband that he's always taking me on the weekends to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. So I'm probably not saying that right. But it's a nice little visual tracker for me. Rod of Wonder was one that I started. It was in a mythical group, and I started at the end of last year when there wasn't any challenges, and all of us were kind of like, what do we stitch for? So I started doing this Rod of Wonder quest, and it's actually been a lot of fun, but when the challenges started up, this kind of got put on the back burner. I will get back to it eventually. I just don't have enough time in my day. Then I have Alpha My Bet Challenge. When I first read it, I thought it was different than what it actually was. I didn't realize it was one project that you stitched your alphabet on. I thought you had to pick a project each time that started with that letter of the alphabet. So anyways, I kept this because I do have projects into each section. I just did this on an Excel spreadsheet. I highlighted the ones I had finished, but I just have it on there just because if I need to start up or stitch on a project that starts with a T, it's a quick, easy thing for me to go to T and go, okay, I can do Twilight. Just as a quick, at a glance. So I just kept it. I didn't get rid of it. I don't know that I will carry this into next year. This is Semi-Sane Whip Days, and each month they have different things that you stitch on. I started out strong, but I've kind of fallen off by the wayside. I haven't done it for a couple of months, but I have it here. I may get back to it. I don't know. Then we go into the month view. And my month view, and I have a week tab too. So for the months, this is where my calendar starts. I took out pages and probably a couple of weeks ago. So I took them out because I wasn't using them. I was very bad about it, but I'm going to show you what they were. If I can give you a good example. So this is the vertical layout. It comes with 3 sections. I went through and drew a line across with a ruler to give myself more sections, thinking that I could do daily 30 and list each block what the daily 30 events were, and Semi-Sane, what was the challenges for that week. It didn't work for me. I started strong and then I fell way off the wagon and it did not work for me. So for the second half of the year in June, I went out and got a dashboard extended non-dated calendar. So I switched out to a dashboard format, which I'm going to show you now, and then we'll go back. A dashboard format looks like this, if I can get it to open here. Here's the month. This is where you can put your month's goals for next month. But this is basically your dashboard setup. Let me just double check. Yep, we're still in frame. So my idea initially was that I could put my daily 30 for the week. I could put any other, like Music Mania, if there's a focus piece, if there's a whip go, if there's any kind of event going on, that I could mark it in on this calendar during that week. Then I've been kind of second guessing that thought process and thinking maybe instead of using the days of the week over here, the blocks, and using them instead for the challenge groups that I'm in and what those challenges are. And put the monthly challenges over here at the beginning of the month. So I'm kind of toying with that. I'm going to play over the next couple of months and see if I like it or not. But so far, I think this is going to be a better fit for me. But again, I have not put this part into practice. But I know I've tried 2 other forms I didn't like. They didn't work for me because I quit using them. Okay. The other thing that I do, and I use monthly trackers that I put into each month. And I'll show you how this works. But I had these made at my local Staples. This is just an Excel spreadsheet, and it has basically, it's a tracking sheet, and I put my whips and how many stitches I did on that whip on that day. This is where I get my totals at the end of the month. I pull this sheet and I total up for each project how much I did that month on that project. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. So here's your month view layout, and how I was using it was like I would mark there's a whip frenzy going to happen. Full coverage fanatics, I have like the different shelves. I was putting all that in. The letters I was supposed to be using. Here's another good example of me doing that, marking things down, marking it off when they got done. And I'm trying to see if there's any on this side now. So that was another way that I was tracking the monthlies, and then I would just mark it off as I did it. Wasn't a big fan. So essentially I took out my older sheets from the earlier part of the year. I took that out, I clipped them, I put them away. If I ever need just a paper, I may pull one of those just as a scrap paper, but because I'm frugal like that. But what I did do is I have, like, this is January, and I have January's card here, and you can see I'm taking it out here. So January's card, and in the card I have my Phantom of the Opera and the days I worked on it, how many stitches I did, all the way down. Same thing on the back side from the 17th through 31st, same thing. Just did it in Excel. And what that did is it lets me kind of see which projects I've worked on each month, and it lets me total them up. And this is probably a sheet I would keep more so than all the other stuff. Because this I can put into a book, and I know if I ever wanted to look back what I was doing on January 5th in 2021, I worked on Hazel's World, I worked on July Teacup, and I worked on Ho Ho Ho. So, you know, it gives you that at a glance, and you can see as it goes down where I've been working. So that's an at a glance. Also in January, I had the bingo, Full Coverage Fanatics did a bingo board. This is my bingo board. I printed it out. I cut it to size, stuck it on a piece of notebook paper for my Happy Planner, and I just highlighted the ones I did. I really enjoyed doing this. I had some ideas on what I would do for the other ones, and I kind of penciled them in. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope they do it again next year. It was the first time I've done this, so it was fun. And so same thing, if I go to February, I have my monthly. I have my sheet for February. It wasn't a big stitching month for me. And then they had Pooper Potion. I had a tracking sheet, and then I fell off the tracking sheet. February just was not a big stitching month for me. I don't, a lot of stuff going on. But I still kept my tracking sheet because that was one of the challenges I remember doing the previous year, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I try to remember projects or groups, challenges that I had fun with, things that I've been working on. So there's March. So you get the idea. I don't have to show you all of them. You're kind of getting the idea. There's April. See, April I wrote Whip Riff Off and Go Stitch because those were two of the challenges that I had a lot of fun with that month. Because when I'm planning for next year and they have 10 different things hitting all at once, I want to make sure I'm hitting the ones that I really liked. And make sure I do those again if I really like them. And then I use this clear week tab. And this puts me just so I can quickly get to this section to be able to put whatever I've worked on today. Like yesterday I worked on Hazel the Giraffe. So whatever I end up stitching on today will go on my sheet. That's the only reason it's probably there. I could set it up differently. It just makes more sense in my brain. At the end of the month, I tend to go back and look at my sheets and see if there's anything pending on my tracker sheets. And I make myself a list like I did here. Let's see, where is it? Here. I knew I needed to hit Hazel the Giraffe for 194 stitches for full coverage because that was ending. Phantom of the Opera I needed to hit for full coverage for 1401, and then Sunday Delight for full coverage for 467. Those were pending ones that I hadn't finished the challenge. So I made sure that I wrote that. I knew I was off this weekend, and I wanted to make sure I hit those 3 to finish those challenges. And I marked them off as I did them. So they've kind of turned into little note sheets for me. Same thing here. This is where I was thinking about using that dashboard layout because it has here's my daily 30. This is one that's left over that I need to work on pick a project that's floss less than 7 colors. And I have a project, I just haven't taken the time to sit and stitch on it. I need to do that. And, you know, these were the challenges for the week. I've already completed them. And I did a rogue event and asked for two shark tooths, so I checked it off that I got them. So it just kind of has become a catch-all of information. Same thing here. I was just trying some different things. No New Stars is having their Gemini event, so I finished the air, I finished the rose. I still have the twins and the pearl, and that's going on until the 22nd of June. So that's what I was trying to do, is kind of prep myself for going into the month of June and finishing out May. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to flip to the back, and I whited this out. I think these had like to-dos, bills to pay or something like that, and I just whited them out with my whiteout because I didn't need that. Some people will put a lot of stickers. I have stickers. I just figured when I got to that week, I might decorate it with some stickers, depending on my mood. I have stitching to do, not stickering to do. Here's my December. I did put a little, this was a stamp that came on one of my Christmas cards this past year, and I really liked it, and I put it on my December, yeah, on my December, who'd you call it, paper. So this is how the vertical layout comes, by the way, and I added the extra lines. It just wasn't working for me, so I switched it. And then the back section, I have personal information. I'm going to split this because I have on this, on the other side of this, I have Zoom rooms that I belong to, their passwords and things in the room, so I know where I'm going and what the password is, because I do go to a couple of different Zooms and stitch with different stitchers. And then I got this at a local, it's not a happy planner, it was something at my Staples, it was on clearance, and I thought, I think that'll fit my happy planner, so I brought it home and put it in here, and it does fit, and it's just a pocket. And then we're at the end. So that's it. That is my flip through of my happy planner and how I stay organized in my stitching. I know it's a lot. If you're not somebody that tracks that I think that's great. But for me, it has really opened my eyes to the kind of stitching I do, the kind of projects I like. I definitely gravitate to the full coverage more so than the other projects. Not that I don't enjoy them, I do, but I do gravitate towards full coverage much, much more. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and have a great day. Happy stitching, everybody. Have a good week. Take care. Bye.